Hey everybody, what is going on? What's up? What's up? We are here for another episode of the Sweet Somethings podcast. I am here with, someone very special to me in my life. Someone who brings, I think, much light and love to the earth. None other than, I'm Joffrey. I forgot to say that. Host of the Sweet Somethings podcast. Yes, yes. But I'm here with Tamara Nelson. Tamara Nelson. I wish I could insert claps right here. Just like, la, 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 la. But yeah, Tam has been on here with me before. Last year we did the I think it was the April recap, which was
hmm
cool. Tam, for those there's some, as I'm on a video platform now, some people that I've never seen before, kind of new. Let the peeps just know a little, maybe something about you, for a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I am, so as Gerard said, I'm Tamara Nelson. I also go by Tammy, and I'm a lot of things. I'm I'm a mental health therapist. I'm a yoga teacher. I am a Black woman. Identities. I'm Caribbean American, UCF
Hey,
alum. And I'm also a podcaster. I have a
nice.
podcast called Honest Conversations, which is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yeah,
For
that's a
sure.
little bit about me.
Hey, and that little is a lot. Right, right. Man, that's what's up.
Yes.
And thank you for, just being here with us on this morning, for doing this recap, man. And we hope that, hey, as you guys tune in, that as you're gleaning, you'll be able to grow from what we discuss and just talk about. So we've been doing the monthly recaps. It's just cool to sit with yourself and just see what's been happening, in your life, and just do some analyzing, right? So we're just gonna jump into our recap for this month. We're gonna discuss some things that we realize it's okay for us to do.
Mm.
Also, some current events, that may have arrested us, and what that all entails. Some highs and lows, and some themes for the month. So hey, well, let us just jump right in. Um, Tam, what have you kind of seen this month that it's okay to blank? What's come across
Yeah.
your radar?
So for me, one was it's okay to keep learning and growing in something that you've been doing for a long time. And do you want me to explain behind
Yeah,
why I'm
please.
saying
I like
that?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and that was something I realized this month because I started a new position with UCF not too long ago, and in the program I'm working for is specifically focused in an area that I specialize in, and I realized like I was learning more things about this particular specialty that I've been doing for 7+ years.
Oh,
And yeah, and for a moment it made me feel like, dang, was I not as good as I thought I was?
yeah, no,
But
ain't
then I was like, but then I had to remind myself that you're always learning. Like if you ever stop
right.
learning, like there is no like reaching the top or knowing everything. There's not. And I don't want to be in any I don't ever want to reach a point where I feel like I know everything there is to
Right.
know. Like
Plateau.
so yeah, so it is okay to keep growing and learning in your area of specialty. In fact, you should be. My other okays was it's okay to try even if you don't feel 100% confident in what you're doing. And I'll kind of get into that with the highs and lows of the month.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
I like that.
yeah, and my last one is it's okay to correct people when they say your name wrong every single
Oh,
time,
mm,
which I will also get into later.
yeah, man. So much to say on that. It's I met this. this a volunteer at my job the other day, and her name was like Kevinique.
Mhm.
So she was like, "This is my name," and she's like, "Oh, you said it right," and I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, but it's okay." Da da da. Other people can't say. I was like, "No, you need." I didn't want to be like, "No, do what I tell you," but I was like, "No, like people should say your name right." She's like, "Yeah, but
Right.
some of them are like they're not like." She's like, where are you from?" Or and I was like, "Well, I'm um New York, but I'm Trinidadian." And she's like, "Oh yeah, exactly. See, because she's Jamaican." So she's like, "See, because da da da," and
Mhm.
I was like, "Nah, man, don't make excuse for anyone. If they can say all
Right.
other words, big words, they can say your name.
Exactly.
They can say your name."
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's
I
just
saw a meme about that too. Like they were like, if Americans can say, I can't even remember what the word. It was some word that's like
yeah,
complicated, but
right.
everybody knows how to say it. And it's like, if they can say that, they can say your name right.
So yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing some of those other things right there. And for me, it's okay to be honest,
Mm,
and like full honesty. Not that you should always. I think I've mentioned this before. A friend shared this with me that be genuine with everybody, but transparent with a few. But
mm,
just be honest. Sometimes people ask you certain questions, and it's like they probably aren't ready for the answer, or it's like, man, if I answer them, I want like this can shift things or whatever. But I just realized there's just freedom in that. If I'm full blown, just honest with whatever it is they're trying to ask me, or just for me myself and living as an authentic individual, I just have nothing to hide. And I've been realizing the more I've just been stepping into that. It's not like I was a liar, if that makes sense. It's
yeah.
just that, you know, if certain people were to ask you something, and I'll get into this a little too, uh, I might answer in a certain way or kind of shift the answer, or just maybe not give them the full um truth, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, dang, I don't want to be like even a liar in the slightest. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just cool to just do that. Um, and I'll definitely discuss some more about that as we go on. But I've been liking that, just like having
Yeah.
no barriers between me and someone. Some people are nosy, but um, hey, here's the answer to the question that you're seeking. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and here, whether you're ready for it or not, because like some
Yeah.
people ask questions that maybe they shouldn't ask. But hey,
Right.
when I'm walking into this space of having nothing to hide, it just kind of feels good. It feels like no one has anything on me, you know,
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I've kind of realized this month, that it's okay to just be honest. It's something, of course, we've known and grown with, right? But I think when we think of honesty, it's like even sharing those things you don't want somebody to know,
Mm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's hey, our it's okay to segment, man. Just some things that we just have seen, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go on. Yo, Tam, so I just want to do a quick this question has just come to my mind. I was substituting with some kids the other day, just a
Mhm.
little deviation from our schedule, our regularly
Yeah.
scheduled program. But I was substituting with these kids, and I've been like getting back into teaching, just loving that.
Nice.
And the Gen Alphas, man, we talk about the Gen Zs, but the Gen Alphas, they're next level. They're like,
Gen Alpha. What is that?
yeah, the AAs, they're after Gen Zs. Like,
Ugh, I
that's the
didn't even
generation.
realize.
Yeah, that's because we're so like Gen Z, but
Yeah.
the Alphas are next level. But I was with them, and I was just like, just talking to them about different stuff. And one of the things we were discussing, I want to just throw it out there to you on the spot. And I know you you do that as well on honest conversations. And I wasn't planning to do this,
Mhm.
but it kept like coming up in my mind. Um, One of the things we said to them, we were talking about was if you had all the money like in the world. Another one was like if you had a round trip ticket, blah blah blah. There's other things. Like if you
Mhm.
if you had maybe let's say $10 billion, like, what would you do with it? And some of their answers were just astonishing. I was like, "Oh," but these are kids, and I just thought about, "Hmm, what about us, like, as adults? What would you do
Mhm.
if you just had, like, 10,000,000,000, right? Or no, let's say, like, Bezos type money, like, 300,000,000,000. What's some of, like, the
Mm.
things that you would, like, do, like, right now, you know? What would that be?
I mean, I would definitely be working. I'd be an entrepreneur. Like I wouldn't be working for anybody. I would
Right,
like expand my private practice into. I think I would develop the vision that I've always had of creating like health centered a health center that is focused on underserved populations,
oh,
where like a space
awesome.
where like different providers can come and provide different services, like things like yoga, mental health services, like social work or case management services. So like a spot where you can look up on the schedule, okay, the case manager is going to be here on da 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 date, and we can set an appointment, or the yoga teacher's coming, or the personal trainer, like different aspects of health, even like financial. Just creating this center where people can come and get these services, as well as professionals who are looking to find a brick and mortar, like a location where they can provide their services, and maybe they don't want to necessarily do it on full time or get their own lease. This could be a place where they could do that, because that's something that I'm looking for myself. So I would create that center. I would develop a model that's going to be effective and sustainable, and then duplicate that in different cities or around the U.S. Cities that really need those services. So that's one thing I would do. And then, of course, I would I would really go hard into real estate. Like I'm already, you know, kind of in it with being a rental property owner, but I would like really expand that and really focus in on buying properties in like Black communities that are, or even just communities that are being gentrified.
Yeah,
Try to like buy up those areas so that they're not being like exploited, or those folks are not being like taken out of their communities and replaced with, what's going
yeah,
on in these gentrified communities. So yeah, a lot of my efforts would be into solving the problems that are affecting Black and Brown communities, underserved communities, and then of course like just living my best life, like traveling and buying my dream house, and doing all the things that money affords you.
but I think the reason why that question, I wasn't planning it, that was not on the schedule, why it came to me, and even why we talked about it in the class with some sixth graders, is because I think the things that are in us are supposed to come out, and in some way or another,
Wait, you think? Say that again.
yeah, the things that are inside of us are supposed to come out,
Uh
and
huh.
they're supposed to come to fruition in some way.
Hmm.
If of course it takes money to do this, right? But I wonder
Hmm.
if it can happen even in other ways. I don't know, connections through our creator, through different things. Um, and I just wonder, I'm like, man, maybe the things that people want to do are really supposed to happen. Like, imagine if that did happen, what
Yeah.
you just talked about. That's a
Yeah.
monumental, um, like something that'll shift, just even communities, wherever those centers are at, like
Hmm.
it'll really change the landscape of just how those people are, how they function, you know, that's just with the center. And then doing the reverse gentrification, right? Like imagine if those
Hmm.
came together. Like that's
Yeah.
what? Um,
Yeah.
so man, I don't know, but I hope that that dream could be a reality and happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and I'll be rooting for that. I'll be rooting for that, rooting for you on that. Real talk. Um, for me, let me see, what would I do? I'll probably go to Bora Bora. let me see. I would definitely do make some shiftings happen, man. For sure. On the, I would be. Actually, I would just like first, just like shoot some people some cash, like
Mm,
um, just like shoot it to them like off rip. Because before I make a move, because I can go do something, and then like
mhm.
I get hurt or I could die or something, and then no one
Yeah,
gets any. So I'm like, let me just shoot everybody. You know, if I got 300 bill, let me shoot everybody like a quick mill right quick. And
yeah.
then after I do that to the
Or have a
people.
will,
Oh, for sure. Like set
where
up.
your
Right, right.
money
Like
goes
first thing first. First things first. Get the will, get all that
Yeah.
cleaned up. Get that cleaned up. Shoot them some cash in real time. And
Mhm.
then I would go just like take a vacation. I feel like I just need to breathe. Like I would just go somewhere
Yeah,
and just like for like a
yeah.
minute with that amount of cash, like just do that. And then I would really I want to see if I could people talk about okay, we can end world hunger this way, we could do this. I want to see like if they said it was 40 billion to do it, right? I remember them saying some stat.
Mm,
I wonder if like if I can go to a place these certain countries and start talking to the presidents and leaders and to see like
up your
what can really be
frozen.
done so that poverty ends. Like what can we really end it in all these places? And let's see,
Mhm,
is money really the issue? I know it's a lot of, I know it has to do a lot with power and people not really giving people access to certain resources.
mhm,
Uh, but I wonder, like, I would try to entertain that conversation and see where
mhm,
that can can take us. And then I would love to start something where it's like people who need funding for like school, like college and stuff.
mhm.
Here's like some a way you can get it, but what if you did something else? Like this might sound like instead of maybe going to college, like what if you had an idea or something you want to do and I can pour into that
Yeah,
idea in some way, get a little percentage when you're done. But
right.
yeah, just like just like I'll try to start some type of like innovation station because
Mhm,
so many of us have stuff, and we just have no resources. Especially like if we
right.
were in college and hey, do you want to do this? Yeah, I would love to do fashion or I love to do that or whatever the case. Um, but I don't have the means. So maybe something like that, and then
Mhm.
definitely dive into some real estate stuff and all that. I used to say the buzzword, generational wealth, but then I stopped
Yeah,
kind of saying that because I'm like, I don't have any generations. I mean, cool if they come, maybe, but I'm just not trying to. Let me just stay in the present. But yeah, yeah, but yeah, those are some things,
mhm,
that So yeah, yeah. Some of the
hmm.
kids were saying, they were like, they would. One of them that really stood out to me, man. What did I say? It was like what? It was something with one of them talked about helping out all the people who are poor, helping out their
Mhm.
parents. And one of them talked about like doing this plastic, creating like this plastic eater machine thing to clean up the ocean.
Mm,
Like, okay, interesting. And then they just started
I
getting
like
super.
that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, okay,
Environmentalists.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, wow, these guys are young with it. So I just wondered, like, if we all had, the ability to do all these things, what would the world be like, man? So yeah,
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little
Mm.
deviation that just hit me, you know.
Mm.
But hey, let's jump into the current event. What current event this month kind of like, maybe stopped you a little bit? You spent some time maybe thinking about marinating on what current event was that for you, Tim?
Yeah, there were 2, well, actually 3, but one was, definitely the crisis that's happening in Haiti, um,
Yeah,
right now. Well, that's been going on, but kind of
right.
reached a really high point, this month, and, I've been thinking that's something that's been on my mind a lot this month, and just
Yeah.
Really praying for, and I know like everybody says that like when these things happen, praying for, but like sincerely, like I don't know what the solution is, but something needs to happen, Um, and I think I read recently that the person that came to power in that 2021, like he wasn't even elected. And I think that was part of the uproar or the protests with the person that came into leadership over Haiti, and that he decided to resign, and which was why like a lot of the gangs, a lot of that violence was going on. But anyway, yeah, that's just been something on my mind a lot, especially since I have a lot of friends that are from Haiti. I have clients that are from Haiti, and it's just been a conversation that's been going on, and a lot of like checking in with friends and my clients, like, is your family safe? Are and just how like devastating that has to be for the people who were in, the capital area, and so many people being displaced or having to like flee the country, and like I just can't even imagine like
Yeah.
going through that. So yeah, that's been one event that's been on my mind. Also that bridge, the
Oh,
Francis
yeah.
Scott Key Bridge that was hit by that cargo ship. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, when I heard about it, like my jaw dropped. I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
just in, those workers that were killed. I think they said like six workers
I believe so. Yeah.
were killed. Two were found or, rescued, and they couldn't find the bodies of I think there was like four of them. They couldn't find the bodies. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I got my numbers correct, but that was just like devastating to hear about, just those workers that were killed, and like what their families must be going through right now. I'm
Yeah.
just glad that it didn't happen at a time when there would have been like full flow of cars going across
Yeah.
that
Oh my
bridge.
gosh.
Cause that could have been like way worse, but it's still terrible enough in itself that, the people that were lost, and, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of like lawsuits and a lot of placing of blame, and, just I'm
Yep.
pretty
Yep.
sure there's going to be a lot that's going to be attached to that, but it's just a devastating event. And lastly,
Mhm.
the birth of a very special child this month.
Yeah.
Your sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if she would want me to talk about it, but
Hey,
no, but
we're
I just,
here. Here. So
my,
mentioned. Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, yeah, we're here.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk
yeah.
about yeah.
My very special friend of mine, very
Cool.
good friend of mine, having her baby. And that was just, really big
Yeah.
event. And it's also like kind of mind blowing, like someone that you've known so long. And then it's like, oh, you're a mom now. Wow. This is a lot to like
Yeah.
digest, and it's just, yeah, it's been like an emotional roller coaster,
Wow. Wow.
so,
And
but
I'm
a
thankful that
blessing, of course.
sure. And I don't think that many people can say that they have a friend like you to be walking alongside them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Do that. So I know that he has a special aunt, in you. And
And that was like part of the emotional part, was like, but aside from like, oh my gosh, my friend's gonna be a mom, there was
yeah.
also like this feeling of like a fear of failing my friend. Like, and I don't even know why because I put a lot of pressure on myself, like with
Mm,
people that I really love and care about. And when like they're have a major transition happening in their life, and, you want to be there, you want to feel like you're doing enough and you're supporting that person that you love. And And so like I had like this anxiety of like, am I, am I gonna be there enough for this person, or am I gonna do enough? And am I enough to, to walk with this person? And, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it was a lot of like me
Oh,
getting in my own head about stuff.
yeah. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, I got you. Trust me. Trust had to walk that. Am still walking that, and probably will
Yeah.
be walking that. Like, dang, can I show up as the uncle that I'm supposed to? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There in this moment. Um,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Those are some dope current events. Very, very. we definitely cross on those. Yeah, mine was of yeah, the Haiti situation. What's happening? I have a friend who's he has like some siblings over there, and we were talking about how we can try to like get him out because
Mm,
I just met someone from the DR, and we were just talking about different things
mm,
like because of where his younger brothers are, and it's just like it's just a really tough situation, and like you said, it's just
mhm.
reached that point, the zenith, if you will, where it's like okay, something has to happen. And then you got the local gang leaders, and I
Yeah.
was looking at it for the last couple of years, and I've kind of seen it just uh, it grew into something more than probably it should have, and
Mm,
it's even before these last couple of years.
yeah.
But recently, when um the prime minister got assassinated, and it
Mhm.
was just I just wish that some of the other countries who they come in to when it best benefits them for certain
Mhm.
reasons. And I have a friend, he would talk about the earthquake in 2010 and how different interest groups and people like benefited from that, right?
Yeah.
And Clinton's XYZ, and it's just wild that sometimes people can like kind of hit somebody when they're down and
Yeah. Yeah.
get a come up off of that.
Mhm.
And as you
Mhm.
mentioned, likewise, I have a lot of friends who are Haitian, one of my best friends, and it's just like, man, I feel for you. It's just like different now as we're older
Mhm.
and stuff. And I remember when on your last episode with you, Drake, just listening to some of that. I remember y'all mentioning
Yeah.
some things. We're growing up, how it was like, as far as people, hey, I'm happy to be Haitian, XYZ, and how things have shifted, the landscape, all that. But for those of us
Mhm.
who might have been there with people before it became cool, like who
Right.
had who were, for us, it hits different now that it's like, man, we're older. We've just been on the brother sister journey, and like it just kind of sucks that that's happening. It's like, and people are just like like for lack of better words, I don't even want to say that, I'm not gonna say it. But just really just stomping on, and just allowing things to implode. And I feel like the US can do something different in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They, how much money has been sent to like Ukraine? I think I remember seeing,
Mhm.
was it like a 300 million like the other day? This is not just like over the time. We can probably look it up, but it was like 300 million got approved or something. I was like, dang, do you know what 300 million can do in Haiti?
Right.
Like,
Right.
like a good, like if people came together and spoke about it,
Mhm.
300 million?
Right.
This is
Mm.
wild. And it's just sad. And I think what you said, I need to do that more. Like really sincerely pray. I heard a pastor
Mm.
praying about it the other day, and I was like, yeah, I need to do that as well. You know,
Yeah.
um, I need to do that some more. It's just kind of it's really wild, man. And just figure out
Yeah.
how I can stand in that, for my brothers and sisters. What I don't like, and I'll end with this, is I don't like how you know the color because of people's shade, man. They're treated, and that's just how it is. We're here. This is the world.
Mhm.
But the people who are coming from Haiti should also be treated as refugees and
Right.
asylum
Right.
seekers and stuff. Like
Right.
a lot of people, I get it. They're coming from their countries. I know they make a trek. Like, I've spoken to a lot of them. I get it. However, I think when I remember, oh man, what year was that when they had that big boat in Miami that crashed, where it was containing people from Haiti,
Mm,
and like people were, just it came on shore, and they like tried to send them back and all this type of stuff. It was crazy.
mm,
I just think that that should also be extended, you know,
mm-hmm.
to our brothers and sisters in Haiti. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure, man. So yeah, that was the current event that really arrested me, that I had to, just really sit with, um, and think about. Also, I also looked into some more Women's History Month. I just kind of
Mm,
looking up some of that. International Women's Day happened and stuff. So that was something that
yeah.
I realized I never really like thought about.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of current event. Or I did, right? But it wasn't like something that I ever like really sat with and saw
Mm-hmm.
like how does this kind of just play out, and how do like how can I be here to support and be in this. Um so yeah, that was kind of cool. Still
Yeah.
in it, still looking,
Yeah.
um
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a cool thing as well.
Mm,
So yeah, man, the current events, the world's it's getting wilder out here, Tam. Like, it's just
yeah.
getting it's getting
Yeah.
wilder, yo.
A
Like, and
wild
I
place.
remember seeing the thing coming down the bridge as well, and that was so sad. I'm like, man, how does part of me was like, how did that happen? But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's wild. It's wild.
I was reading into it a little bit, but I think obviously there's going to be parts of the details of how that happened that I'm
Right,
not going to understand because I'm not,
right, right.
in that type of work. But I'm sure more details are going to be
It
coming to
starts.
surface.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Well, hey, let us transition to our highs and lows for the month. These are moments where you had a moment like, whoa, you're super elated. That was just very good. I think we need to always
Mm,
recognize that, because sometimes we miss those. And then even the
yeah.
ones that have taken us low, we can recognize that as well, because, hey, there's a spectrum of emotions that we are to experience, right, as people. And I've grown up where I've only been on one side of it. But the more I experience the full, just a bevy of emotions, it's been good. Whether it be
Hmm.
pain. So I'll kick this one off. I'll take from your one of your current events. My high for this month, I had a couple different ones, but the one high, that really was
Yeah.
like, yo, was, yeah, my nephew Kashin, being born. And yeah, it was kind of wild. It was like the process of pregnancy is like, there's something in there, there's someone in there, but it's not. It's like it doesn't really hit until it's like, yo, whoa, like this is
Yeah.
real life in my arms. And
Yeah.
a lot of some of those same thoughts that you had, like, come, okay, am I gonna show up in the way
Mm,
that maybe is expected of me, and am I gonna meet
mm.
those expectations? Some expectations I may not even know are on me, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and how can I really step into this space, giving myself grace at the same time? So it's the first time.
Hmm.
So I've had, some nights, just chilling by my sister, just trying to, like, if I hear the baby crying, trying to go over there. Sometimes I miss it though. sometimes,
Hmm.
sometimes I miss it.
Yeah.
Just trying to be there for her in that, and sometimes I'm not there, and it's just like, dang, I wish. Oh, I need to figure this out. You know.
Mm.
So, but it's just been a blessing just to see him, and just to think about the future for him, and just like try to reroute things that happened for me. Like, he doesn't have to walk into, so start pouring into him early about his
Hmm.
beauty, um,
Yeah.
his awesomeness. How I believe that God brought him into this world for a reason, and just placing some things, just seeding in him, just like a lot of great
Hmm.
things that are supposed to be done, getting him attached in the right way,
Hmm.
to people, and to himself and to life, his creator, very
Right.
early. So those have been some things I've been just thinking about, and thought about myself. I was like, man, whoa, this is what it's gonna be like. Sometimes, my sister's like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? I'm like, oh, so this is what it's about. But that's my sister. So man, imagine if if I get married on that vibe.
Right.
Um, you know? Nah, but I've been aiming for that. That's been amongst some other things. That's been like my high for this month. So yeah. What about for you?
My high for this month, I mean, that was also
That
definitely
was
a
one? Yeah,
high,
yeah,
it's him just coming, him and Rashawn coming safely and, through
yeah.
this.
Right,
Um,
right.
because, the black women maternity,
Yeah.
right? Like that's always, anytime I have a black woman friend or family or anyone that's going through pregnancy, part of me always has this like fear of like, okay, are they going to get through this? Okay. Like it's not, I think people don't realize how risky childbirth is and how much of a blessing it is to come out of that alive,
Yo,
and that might
that's
sound very morbid, but it's a
no, but that's
reality.
what it is. It
Yeah.
is.
So I was just, yes, glad for the birth of Kasheen and, a life, but also like my friend is safe and she's here,
Mm,
she got through it. Um,
that's real. Yeah.
and another high, I had a task at work. So like I said, I started with the new program that I'm working with, and there was so one of the very seasoned therapists that I work with had to be out unexpectedly, and he had a certain task that he had to do, and so he asked if I could take over, if I could do it, and I was like, oh, I'm new, I don't know. Like I was having this like doubting myself or doubting that I was going to do a good job, and it was like basically, in short, I'm not going to go into detail about what it was, but in short, it was like doing a demonstration for like a group of people who were coming into the office. And, so there was a lot of pressure, like, oh, am I going to do it justice?
Sure.
You know? Yeah. And it went well. It went fine. Like, and so that was like a boost, like a confidence boost. Like Tamara, you know what you're doing. Like, stop.
Yeah.
But whenever you're new, it doesn't matter like how many years of experience I have. Like when you're starting something new, you're always going to have those moments of like doubt. There's always going to be that learning curve, that adjusting period. So that was a high moment for me. Just, stepping up to the plate, even though I was not 100% confident in what
Mm,
I was doing, and I did it, and it was all fine. The whole world didn't collapse. So, and my other high moment was just advocating for myself. So what I was saying about like correcting people about your
yeah.
name, that's been throughout my whole life, that's always been a point of like difficulty for me because my name is often mispronounced. My Tamara is often mispronounced. People like Tamara, like even like I can introduce myself as Tamara and then somebody will immediately start calling me Tamara. And I'm like, I literally just said my name was Tamara. Like, where did you get that from? So, or they'll just spell it wrong, like in an email. Like, my name is literally my email. How is this happening?
That's wild.
And I've had like bad experiences in the past where I would correct someone and then they would take it like I'm having an attitude. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Tamara, I'm sorry. Or I've even had someone be like, Tamara, tomato, tomato. It doesn't matter. Basically, it doesn't matter. Like, excuse me? Yeah. So, and when you have those type of reactions, it makes you feel like, am I wrong for correcting you? Or you start to question,
Right.
And
Right.
so I developed like kind of this, yeah. So I had this like anxiety with like correcting people. But then if I didn't correct them, then I would feel away. Like
Mm,
somebody's just continuously saying my name wrong. And it makes you feel like, well, maybe my name doesn't matter. Maybe I don't like, you're not putting in the effort to say my name right. And it's making me feel away. Um,
mm,
so anyway,
mm,
I think the turning point for me, I had this experience with a supervisor where he like kept saying, this was several years ago, and he kept saying my
mm.
name right, and I would correct him every time. It's Tamara. It's Tamara. It's Tamara. And he would
Okay.
keep saying it wrong. And it reached a point where I was like, you just don't care. Like
Oh,
that's just what it is. You don't care. And that like really like made me feel away. So from that point, I became like, nah, I'm not accepting that. Like I'm gonna correct you. So anyway, in this new space that I've entered at work, like I noticed it was happening again where people were like starting to say my name wrong. And I would, it's Tamara, it's Tamara. And then like I don't know, I was hearing all different pronunciations and it started to become like overwhelming, like trying to not be like super angry and like have an attitude, but at the same time, like, yo, what is happening? Like, my name is not that complicated. Like, I don't get it. And I'm even trying to like, hey guys, it's
whew.
Tamara, like, like T and Tamara, like sister, or Tamara, like
Oh,
Panera. Like, I'm trying to
okay.
help you out.
Trying to help them out. Oh my gosh.
Right. Because I get it. I get it. Sometimes I don't always say people's names right. But because of my own personal experience with it, I make a concentrated effort to
Fine.
do better. Right. To learn it. Like, okay, what is it? All right. I break down the phonetic spelling. I take note, like in my phone, I will put notes about how to pronounce somebody's name because
Yeah.
it's important. People's names are important. Like if
Yes.
you've never had a name that people commonly mispronounce, you don't know what it feels like when people are constantly saying your name wrong. It's like they're not even saying your name. It doesn't even feel like they're talking to you, you know?
Whew.
So
Mm,
yeah. So so I
mm.
had this idea, like I was like, okay, this has to be addressed, Tamara. We cannot just we're not letting this slide. Like people, and I'm a big on correcting people in private and not publicly. I don't like to like make people feel like embarrassed or bad in front of like a group. So I started like pulling people aside and like, hey, I noticed that you're saying my name like this. Just so you know, it's pronounced like this. And if you ever like if you forget or I don't like you can ask me 100 times over again, how do you say your name? I'm totally fine with you asking me. But what I don't like is when people confidently mispronounce my name. Like without even checking. Like you can ask me, like I'm going to always give somebody grace. Like I appreciate when people ask because it shows that you're putting in effort to try to learn, you know?
Yeah.
So and then I had this idea, you know what? I'm gonna rope in the person in the office who's like the most vocal. And I know that if they get it right, they're gonna correct other people when they hear it. And so
Whoa.
and so
Strategizing.
that's
Okay.
yeah, I was like, let me
Strategize.
be a little strategic with this. So I pulled that person aside and was like, hey, it's Tamara, and maybe an easy way to remember is Tamara like Panera. And she was like, oh, yeah, I can remember that. And I know since that day, I started to hear people who I didn't even have to pull aside yet started saying it correctly. And I was like, okay, my plan worked.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah. So, anyways, I was proud of myself for, advocating even when it was uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
when somebody like got it wrong, like I corrected you at least 3 times and you're still saying it wrong, like it starts to get uncomfortable at that point. But I was proud
Wow.
of myself for still like pushing myself to like correct them.
Jeez. I love that,
So those are my
Tam.
high
Like I
points.
really do. And I know that must have that must have felt so good and affirming of yourself, like, ah, like, yeah,
Yes.
now as you were saying that though, I thought about something too. I'm just like, dang, why do we have to do so much to be seen though? Like, why, like, simple stuff, I think
Right.
that should really be on you. Like, why am I trying to help you? Like, it's
Right.
just my name, bro. It's just my name. Like, please just, you can say it. And like you said, if you haven't really experienced that, you're not gonna really. So I've definitely experienced that. Oh my gosh, Gerard,
Oh yeah,
Gerald,
I'm
Jared,
sure.
it is like, and then when I transitioned to Joffrey, oh my gosh, just like Jeff. I'm like, so I went through that. I'm just like, no, like, it's okay. I get it. Like, let me, like, I get it. You don't, and I'm just making up all these excuses for you.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bruh. You can say, if you can
Mhm.
say jaw, like, that's your jaw,
Right.
right? And you can say
Mhm.
Joffrey. I don't get it. And I just would now just stopping people. I'd be like, no. I have a friend who would always, his name was Ulrich, and he would say his name when he introduced him. He would like hit people phonetically, just like boom. So there's no way you could get that joint wrong. He will slow it down when he first met you, Ulrich, and it's like, okay, we got it. And I'm like, man, why do people? You can do this. You can really
Yeah.
say my name. And a lot of times, some people will be like, oh, Joffrey like this, and I'd be like, no, Joffrey Saint Hilaire like that. Like it's
Mhm.
if they get it, then they'll like try to put something else on it. It's like, no,
Mhm.
it's this, it's me, and that's it. It ain't
Yeah.
like this person from this TV show. It ain't like
Right.
anybody. It's me.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. But I love it that you worked smarter, not harder. So now you don't have to keep on like, it's like, okay, let me hit that vocal person over there. I know if you get it, what I'm saying, it's good. And now I like that. I like that. That's what's up, man. That is what's up.
You know,
So
I
so
learned
yeah.
that strategy from in one of my past workplaces. I had a friend, really close coworker that was that was that person. He was that vocal person that would check you on spot. No, no, no,
Mm.
no. That's not what we're doing. And so like it got so bad. There was a person that I worked for, a supervisor that would consistently get my name wrong for like the 4 years I was working there, would
4
consistently
years.
get my
Wait,
name
what were they saying? Like were they just saying like, hey,
Tamara, who knows, whatever, anything but my name.
that
And
wow, 4
so
years?
yeah, and it got so bad to the point where other people would start defending me. Other people would be like, it's Tamara. And so like he was that person. So we would be in a staff meeting, and we had a pretty big staff. And
Yeah.
if she said my name wrong, he would be like, it's Tamara. And so then that's when I got the idea, like, okay, I need to be roping in people who are like, this is just their nature to like be advocates. Let me rope
Oh,
them in.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
what's up. Strategy
And
out there, guys.
I appreciated that.
Yeah. That's something people can definitely glean and grow from, right? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Strategy. So what was the your low moment this month that kind of ah hit you
Yeah.
on the
So
yeah.
my low this month was okay. So I had a moment where I was realizing
Mhm.
that I was struggling with comparison this
Mm.
month. Like,
Yeah.
just particular, I don't even know like what kind of started. And I have like moments where I do feel like that. But like this month, it was like seemed heightened.
Mm. Mm.
And it was like I would go on LinkedIn. Like, I kind of stopped going on LinkedIn
Mm.
because of this reason. But it was like every time I logged into LinkedIn, it just felt like everybody was just, I won this award and I've been doing this and
Dang.
I got this. Da, da, da. And then I was like, man, it was starting to make me feel like, dang, am I not doing enough?
Mm.
Like,
Hmm.
everybody out here winning. Like, LinkedIn will literally make you feel like everybody in the world is
Oh,
out
for sure.
here
For sure.
winning.
For
but you.
sure. For sure. For sure.
And I thought it was just me, but then I saw a meme that somebody had posted that was pretty much saying the same thing about like LinkedIn. And I was like, okay, it's not just me. But so I kind of like, I was like, you know what, right now, let me just cool off on LinkedIn. Like cause it's making me feel a way that I don't
Walked
like
across
right
the
now.
street. She walked across
Huh?
the street. Congratulations. I'd be like, Jane walked across the street. Congratulations. Like
Right.
everything.
Everything. And
Everything.
I
Yeah.
actually kind of want to do a topic on this eventually, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about that. But something related to that. Like,
Right. Right.
so
Compare. Yeah.
anyway, I just found myself comparing like my journey to other people's journey, or like feeling feeling happy for the people I know who are having accomplishments, but
Right.
then at the same time like looking down on myself or feeling like I'm not doing enough, and like overlooking my own contributions. And yeah, so and then also with like Instagram as well, like areas where I'm like trying to grow business wise, and then seeing other people who seem to be like doing so well, and
Mm.
just feeling like, dang, what am I doing wrong? So yeah, I was this month, that was a struggle for me. It's something that I kind of sat and had to kind of process a little bit. What about you?
Got you. Wow. Wow. Thank you for that, Tam. That's a serious joint right there. Comparison. It'll suck it out of you, girl. Something
Yeah.
that I talked about on my last month. That's crazy. Like that really was hitting me, you know. Um, and I'm thankful that the awareness for both of us is there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, I remember hearing you talk about that.
I know that a little bit. Yeah, I remember someone saying like, just compare yourself to yourself. You know, it just like keep going
Yeah.
from that or something like that. You know. But my low, man, came from a conversation I had with there's a couple lows, but I'll just share this one. This it was a conversation I had with some young ladies, you know, and I was at an event. So I had a private conversation with one of them before at another event that I met them at like a couple months ago. And I was talking to this one individual, let's say person A. We were just talking about life and stuff. And I didn't really deem this as a struggle, but I was just like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm celibate, you know. Um, that's what we were talking about in that moment. So then
Mhm.
I saw them like I saw this person A at this other event this month, and they were with person B, like they were together.
Mhm.
So then person A is like, hey, like how's your celibacy going? And I was like, well, talk about being honest, answering people. Right? I was like, well, you know, had a shift in that. You know, I didn't really. Now it's kind of like a Christian Adventist group,
Mhm.
so and they're
Yeah.
more on the conservative side. So it's like there's one thing, Adventism is already socially conservative. Then there's
Yeah.
like ultra conservative, more like
Yeah.
Presbyterian groups, you know, and so that's where they are at, A and B, and and I was like, yeah, you know, things kind of happened, so I kind of broke that, but
Mhm.
and then A's like, like, oh my gosh, no, but then B took it to like another level. B is just like,
Mm.
yo, like I'm so disappointed in you, like I held you
Oh
in a high regard.
God.
I'm just like, whoa, what's happening right now? And then
Right.
it wasn't until a friend spoke to me that it was like, yo, that was damaging, because me and my friend were going through
Mm.
the body keeps the score. Um,
Okay.
and she's I mean I went she's just further along with me, but she went through it and I kind of didn't finish it. But anyway, she was just like Tiana, she was just like, yeah, like that was like damaging, you know what I'm saying? And I thought about it, I was like, man, because it made me feel a type of way. And I was like, my
Yeah.
honesty was honored, but I was thankful
Right.
that I'm honest, and I didn't really need to share this with you because first off, you're asking me something in public that we talked about in private.
Right.
So A, you're a little wrong. But then B
Mhm.
just takes it to the next level, and it's just like, yo, and then C comes over. So then C comes over, and C is like, this is real, this is real. C's like, "Oh, can I join this conversation? You guys look like you're like having like," and then we just started talking about different things. I just started sharing with them some things that I had been looking at, just like studying about the Bible and life and sex and love and this and that. Not necessarily justifying anything, but that's how
Mhm.
it may have been received. But in that
Mhm.
moment, it just occurred to me that, like, you just have to be really careful. Like, you can be honest, man, but just
Mhm.
know that, like, and I'll talk about this a little bit later too in my themes, like, that authenticity, that honesty costs you. Like,
Yeah.
it has a
Yeah.
it has a price. And I told myself I'll do this. So I'm gonna read. I didn't read this message yet because I saw it come in, um, but I just never got around to it. So C, who was a part of that conversation, she sent me a message on WhatsApp, and I just never I didn't read it. Um,
Mhm.
and it was just like after the conversation, C was just like, "Hey, like, are you okay? Like, are you good? I just wanted to
Mm.
um just like affirm you, like your greatness, whatever, like just stuff like that."
Mhm.
And then they just said, "It was great seeing you. Keep up the great work." You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
however you look at whatever someone does, it's just interesting how people who I think they're a certain way, like especially a lot of like Christian, whatever,
Yeah.
they think they are a certain way, but they're
Mhm.
actually not, and
Yeah.
they do a lot more damage than good.
Yeah.
So in that conversation, and then I had my other friend, my bro that I was just talking to. We were talking about some of the same things, and he came over. So that's D, and then he came over and we're talking, and then it was just wild. Like, and then later on, maybe in that weekend, B saw me. We were eating, and then B saw me, or A texted me like, "Hey, are you good? I just want to make sure you're okay." And I'm like, for you to have to text me those things, you shouldn't. It was a
Mm.
problem. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
like what you were saying, was a problem. For you to text me, "Are you okay? Are you good?" Because they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh," they were just. It was just so much. Um,
Mm.
and like, you need to like you need to have a savior. You need a savior and all this. I'm like, I
Oh
never
my
said
gosh.
was to where I never said that this was a struggle. I never said,
Right.
and
Right.
I learned that my moments aren't. It's not my mission anyway. You know, like however you
Mhm.
want it as, it's not my mission.
Right.
And I'll just end with this part. I saw B, the one who was really at this restaurant spot, and later on that weekend, they were just like, "Hey, I just want to apologize to you for like the things like what I said. Maybe I could have said it differently."
Mm.
And I was like, hmm. I was like, yeah. And I just said, maybe you need to do some heart work. And a part of me
Right.
felt bad for saying that, but then I thought about it. I was like, I don't know what else to say to you. Like,
Yeah, that's the truth.
yeah, I was like, maybe you just need to do some heart work. And they were like, yeah. And then they and then it just then they yeah, they walked away. But it was just interesting. Like in that moment, I didn't realize until I was processing that with someone, my friend
Mhm.
Tiana, that was really a damaging moment. I was like,
Yeah.
damn. Was like, "You're this, you're that, it's like,
Mm. That's
but yeah,
wild.
that was kind of a low because it was just like, wow, it's just really hurtful
Yeah.
that that I'm being like demonized for living life or for
Being a
sharing
human?
something with someone who asked me in public. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? With other ears around.
Exactly.
But hey, that's what that is. So yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that
That
they
was
thought about it and came back and acknowledged,
say that again?
you know. I'm glad they thought about it and came back and acknowledged, the mistake that they made.
Yeah. You said you said you like how they thought about it and came back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
acknowledged the mistake that they made.
Yeah, you know? Um, because sometimes in those moments you're like, man, you start to really put it on yourself when you know that this person, whatever they're giving you is not right.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I did like that as well, that they, you know, I guess acknowledged some things, but I feel like it wasn't really, it was that they knew something was wrong, but it wasn't
Mhm.
like let's just really figure some stuff out. It's just kind of like, hey, oh hey, I hope you're good, checking on you. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was one of them, and then yeah, one of them was more uh loving and kind and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um,
okay, I see.
so they were kind of all like different, Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the low.
Mm.
Yeah, man. But so it's cool to just see those moments that we have, those highs and lows as we navigate this thing, man. And I'll transition to the themes. I'll just kind of jump in there since I'm kind of already there, but just
Yeah.
learning that in different times, just authenticity. It's you have to choose to be authentic, and
Mhm.
it's definitely not the easiest thing, you know. And I've just been like kind of seeing that um what that kind of brings through different things throughout the month, different
Mhm.
situations um with people. There's a game to be played. I remember when I finished seminary trying to pastor with the church, there's like a game, there's a game to be played to get those
Mhm.
jobs and stuff. And I couldn't play the game. Not that I didn't have the skills. It was just like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want to play. If LeBron doesn't feel
Right.
like playing today, he ain't gonna play. But we know he's LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
we know he's LeBron.
exactly.
So I gotta know that. And
Exactly.
I was just like, man, but it can cost him because that game he might lose and then it messes up the record, whatever.
Yeah.
It costs you. So that was one of my themes just reoccurring for the month through different situations, stuff about the choice to be authentic and
Mhm.
realize that there's a price to pay. It may not always be something hurtful or hard or bad, but
Mhm.
it comes with some type of price. And a lot of times you grow from it, you know, when you
Yeah.
walk in that place. And the second thing that was reoccurring for me was just the theme of manhood. Just like, what does it mean to be a man? Like, what's my role? Especially now we're in 2024. I think it, being a man, especially with social media and stuff in these last couple of years, man, it's a lot more. I don't want to say nuanced, but there's so many thoughts and ideas, right? And for me, I've been having to just sit in that. I know I'm a male. I was like, am I a man? And I'm
Mhm.
like, where's this coming from? These
Yeah.
different things. Now that I have like having my own place, having to um be an uncle, not having a
Mhm.
car but still having to get to work, figuring that out. Or not, all these different things.
Yeah.
Like what does that really mean? And then okay, if I jump into the dating realm, like what is that like? I had a few connections. Okay, so I'm like, I just hit you with the free boy. If you ain't with the free boy, I'm good. Hey, we're going to the park. Let's walk and talk in the park. If you're not with it, that's fine.
Right.
But let's say if that's
Yeah.
cool, and then okay, after we might go, let's get ice cream or get a little bite. Like as a man, like you pay, right? You know what I'm saying? Or just these different things.
Mhm.
You hear these conversations, of course, Facebook, social, Instagram about going Dutch and this and that and all that type of stuff. And it's just like I feel like even though a lot of stuff is out there, there's just something in like men to like just move a certain way. And
Yeah.
but and I don't know where that may have come from. Maybe not all men. Maybe it's just how I was kind of raised and things that were downloaded in me, and
Mhm.
just having to figure that out as of late. So I'm in this men's group on WhatsApp, and I was like, "Yo, what does it mean, to you guys, like about
Mm.
like that, you know?" And some responses intrigued me, different things people said, oh, dependability, provider, this and that,
Mm.
all these different types of
Yeah.
things. And I was just thinking about it to myself. I'm like, man, this value system, like, where does it really come from? And how can
Mm.
I just set a foundation, for myself? And why is there so much pressure, you know, there?
Right. Right.
You know, why is there a lot of that?
Yeah.
And I think now I've been just sitting with that, and that's something that's just been reoccurring. And lastly, I'll say on that regardless of wherever I land, I don't think there's a formula I
Mm.
don't think there's like, oh, because you have like, you're financially stable, or because you have certain soft skills, or because
Mhm.
you don't let anyone get to you in this way, or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure if there's like this checklist for what it means
Mhm.
to be a man. I'm here, and I think you just continue to become a better man every day, fail
Yeah.
forward, and that's where I've kind of been landing at. But it just keeps coming up to like through different interactions and things I've been having. So those were
Mm.
my themes. Uh, for the month. And I'll ask you this before you share yours. Like, is there like as a woman, is there an expectation sometimes like for a man to be XYZ? Like, even if it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even if it's not romantically connected, like there's just certain expectations, right?
Yeah, it's definitely expectations on a man. So you're
Oh
saying,
my
like,
God.
from my perspective, being a woman, like, do I
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
certain expectations for men?
Yeah, like it not even non-romantic. Like it's just like
Yeah.
you're a man, you should be flowing it this way, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Even if they may not be like sometimes they're unconscious, like expectations, like things that you kind of pick up from society, TV, or how you grew up. But yeah, there's definitely like if there's a situation where I'm carrying heavy stuff, I'm gonna expect the
Mm,
man in the room to
okay,
help me.
okay,
You
okay,
know,
okay,
you
okay.
expect the man to be kind of like the protector in a situation or to lead in a situation, even if it's not like romantic. And I don't necessarily think that's always like correct. In one example I can even think of, I remember being in the car with a friend of mine, a guy, and this was like several years ago. And there was like a bug in my car, and I like screamed, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "Kill it!" And he was scared too. And I was like, in my head, I was like, wait, we both can't be scared. You got to be the one to kill the bug. And that made me pause though. I thought about it afterward. Like I expected him to be the fearless person in the situation because he was a man, but he was scared of the bug too. And like that shouldn't have been like he can be scared. Like men are scared of things too, just like women are. And so, that
Mm,
was a pause moment for me. But I had an expectation that he would handle that situation because he was the man. I could have been the one to handle it. So yeah, there's definitely expectations.
sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. You. So yeah. So for your themes, what are some of those reoccurring things that were just popping up for you? Um, this month.
Yeah, I think mine were connected to the whole comparison thing. I was having a conversation with someone about that and like me going on LinkedIn and seeing like people just constantly getting awards and all this stuff and how it was making me feel like I wasn't doing enough. And he kind of gave me a little bit of perspective. He was explaining because he's kind of in similar circles, and he was telling me that sometimes those awards have a lot more to do with who those people are affiliated with. Like sometimes a lot of those folks who are getting those recognitions and awards are part of organizations or social circles that puts them more in a position to be recognized. So it's not necessarily that they're doing more important work compared to other people. It's that they're just connected to the right people and the right organizations in order to get those awards. So that really helped put things in perspective for me. And it's not to downplay the greatness of those individuals who get those awards, but it helps you realize like your value and your contributions to your whatever you're doing is not validated. It's not the value of what you're doing should not be dependent on awards, because sometimes that stuff is about like favoritism, nepotism. Like sometimes it's not solely based off of just, you're just that great, so that gave me perspective. And then the most important thing is just kind of staying in your lane and just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the work. Don't place your value on who's recognizing you or how many likes you get on Instagram, or who's, social media posts or LinkedIn. Like, don't base your value on that. Just keep doing what you're doing. And yes, and sometimes that also has to do with you're not like bigging up yourself. Like, these people they're broadcasting what they're doing, and that's why they get recognized. Sometimes we're kind of moving and then we don't give credit to ourselves, or we're not putting our work out there. So then how are other people supposed to know what you're doing if you're not sharing it, if you're not talking about it? So that's another thing too. But when it comes to the whole issue of comparison, for me, it's just about continue to be happy and support the people who are, doing great things and getting recognized, and also recognize that you're doing great things too, regardless of what you're seeing on social media. Like, take time to like reflect on the times that you've been recognized and the times that, the great things that you've been doing, or how many people have come to you in private and said, hey, that podcast episode that you did really changed my life. Or that client that shared how their therapy sessions with you like completely transformed their life and got them out of whatever situation. Like, sometimes the recognition sometimes is the private conversation. It's not always a gold star award at a ceremony. Like, and sometimes that private recognition means a whole lot more than getting an award because you're a part of an organization. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of been the thing for me. Just stay focused, stay, rooted and grounded in what you're doing. Don't worry about the next person, what they're doing and what they're getting, because their path is not your path. Like, you
Right.
got your own thing. There's things out there for you, and just stay focused on that.
Right. Yeah, I hear that. Receive that. Receive that. Receive that, man. I think that's a very encouraging word. Very encouraging word. Something that won't stymie our progress. Because if we continue to just look at others, we'll never really focus on ourselves, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So dope, man. Thank you, Tam. Thank you, for that, man, and even for this time, and for sharing your 2024 March 2024, month with us. There are a lot of things I know that you said that I know that people listening will definitely be able to grow from as they gleaned. And we definitely wish you the best here on Sweet Somethings. Let the people know again, where they can just find you. You mentioned it at the beginning, but let's say it again here before we close out our time together today.
Yeah. So the easiest way to get in contact or get access to the things I'm doing, if you go to my Instagram page, which is tammy.yoga, TAMMY.yoga. The link in my bio has my yoga website, also has my podcast, the direct link to access my podcast. My therapy website is mbwcounseling.com. So M as in Mary, B as in boy, W as in walrus. MBW? mbwcounseling.com. So yeah, that's where you can reach me.
Hey, we've come to the end of our episode here for Sweet Somethings. Please, hey, if you want to just shoot us an email, you can do that at sweetsomethingspodcast at gmail.com. We just hope that you can head on over to Honest Conversations after you're here. Get yourself caught up on Spotify and Apple podcasts. And we just thank you for tuning in. we hope that you have a great rest of your day, whatever you're gonna do when you're listening to this, and that you be blessed. Take care, guys.